and welcome to week 3 of Big Picture. We're so glad you're joining us. And as we've been talking in this series, we've been talking about what it looks like to really take a step back and see the bigger picture. Sometimes when we're faced with a situation right in front of us, what we do is we put these blinders on and we can see what's right in front of us. But really, the situation that we're in or the struggle it is or whatever's going on tends to be the biggest thing that we see. And it's hard to take that step back and to see what else is going on, to see that God is at work, to see that He's doing this for His glory and your good. And so really taking the opportunity to take a step back and look beyond our current situation and see the big picture. Today our main idea is when you are struggling to see the big picture, just do the next right thing. Do the next right thing. It'll all make sense when we get into our reading for today in the book of Genesis, looking at the life of Joseph. But just thinking about that, how many of you always do the right thing? Right? You never do the wrong thing. You always make the right decision. You always make the right choice. You always obey your parents. You always are nice to your friends. You're always kind to your brother and sister. How many of you always do the right thing? Yeah, me too. Just kidding, right? It's a challenge to do that sometimes, to always do the right thing. It could be you broke something, and the next right thing would be to confess that you did that, right? That was you that hit the baseball through the window, or it was you that dented your parents' car, or whatever it might be. That was you that gossiped about your friend behind their back, and they found out about it, and it was you that did whatever it was. And doing the right thing means confessing those things that we do wrong. It can be a challenge to do that sometimes. Doing the right thing doesn't always come easy. It's often the hard choice, not the easy choice. It's often the uncomfortable choice that we have to make, not the comfortable choice. Doing the right thing is not always easy. And why is that? Because doing the right thing usually costs us something. It might cost us a friend. It might cost us trust with our parent or a family member. It might cost us a relationship. It might cost us our pride. It might cost us a friend group. It might cost us a letter grade. It might cost us suspension. It might, whatever it is, it might cost you. It usually costs you to do the right thing, especially in challenging situations. Doing the right thing isn't easy, but it's what we are called to do. You know to do the right thing, but we don't always do it. Sometimes it does actually feel really easy to do the right thing because it's super clear what that right thing is and it doesn't cost us. But when it does cost us, that's when we're really challenged. Are we going to be people of integrity? Are we going to be people of Christ-like character? Are we going to stand up for what is right? Are we going to do the right thing? Not the thing that's easy, not the thing that's comfortable, not the thing that we always want to do, but the thing that we should do because it's what Jesus would do. It's the right thing. So we're going to look at this person in the Old Testament, Joseph, as we've been looking at him over the past couple of weeks. And there was this big picture that Joseph was struggling to see a little bit. And he's in the midst of this. If you remember, he was sold into slavery by his brothers, and he's in slavery, and now he's been sold to Potiphar, and he's in Potiphar's house. And things are actually going pretty well for him. He's captain. Potiphar was captain of Pharaoh's guard. He's kind of a big deal. And Joseph is actually placed in charge of almost everything in Potiphar's house. He's put as a ruler over all of these things. And the story starts to take a turn, though, even though Joseph is in this great situation. And so we're going to look at that in Genesis 39, verses 6 and 7. And so it says that Joseph was well-built and handsome. And after a while, his master's wife, so that would be Potiphar's wife, took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." Wow, okay, so this really escalated quickly. So Joseph is this good-looking dude working hard for his boss, Potiphar, and suddenly Potiphar's wife takes notice of him, and she invites him to do something that was meant just to be between her and her husband. Joseph had a decision to make. He is owned by this family, right? He is a slave in this situation. And so what is he going to do? Is he going to disobey a direct order? Is he going to be faithful to what his master has called him to do? Or is he going to listen to his master's wife? What if he's attracted to her? And he's like, yeah, she's pretty good looking. I'm pretty good looking. I don't have a wife, but she's got a husband. And he's trying to where is Joseph in this situation? And he's starting to wonder, where's God in this situation? And all these different things have been happening to me. Now here's another awkward situation, and I'm trying to see the big picture here. There's a lot of variables that go into these things. Remember, Joseph is a human. He struggles with the things that all of us struggle with. So what is he going to do in this situation? What decision is he going to make? He's been invited to make the wrong decision, but every time we're invited to make the wrong decision, it's also an invitation to make the right decision. Which one are we going to choose? So there's a lot at stake here for Joseph, a lot riding on this decision that he's going to make. So what does he decide? Continuing in verse 8, but he refused her. With me in charge, he told her, my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except for you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. Instead of giving in to this invitation of Potiphar's wife to do the wrong thing, Joseph does the right thing day in and day out, over and over and over, making this intentional decision. As she comes to him day after day, Joseph makes the right decision day after day. This is what it means to choose to be a person of integrity, to do the right thing even when it's hard, day after day after day. You would think that he would get worn down of always saying no, of always denying, of always choosing the right thing. And yet this is where Joseph is, relying on the Lord for his strength. Day after day after day, he refuses. He's making the right decision. Not just once, but over and over and over again, Joseph decided to do what was right. Now, doing the right thing will actually end up costing Joseph his freedom. You'd think he's already not free, and yet here he is in his master's house, able to really run things for his master. Now, Potiphar's wife did not give up, even though Joseph kept saying no. Later on, she continued to communicate her desire to basically have an affair with him. Joseph continues to deny her, and yet one day she's at her wit's end, and what she does, instead of just asking him with her words, she literally grabs onto him. And Joseph's like, dude, I'm out. I'm getting out of here. I'm getting away. He runs away. He leaves his cloak behind. He's like gone, and what she does is she twists it, and she says, oh yeah, he was coming after me. He came in here. He left his cloak because I cried out to the guards, and all that. And she made up this story, and what ended up happening is Potiphar ended up putting Joseph in prison because of what happened between Joseph and his wife. You're like, how is that even fair? It's not. Joseph would have been so tempted to not see the big picture, but to just see the immediate situation he's in and think, this is horrible. God, what is going on? Where are you? And yet God is at work. God is actually working for the future restoration of his kingdom. But he's doing it in the life of Joseph, and it can be hard to see that in the moment that he's faced with. He did the right thing regardless of the cost, and that's really what it means to choose integrity. Remember, when you can't see the bigger picture, do the next right thing. Whatever it is, you know what the next right thing is. It may be hard to do, it may cost you something, but you know what that next right step is. Maybe you need to confess something, maybe you need to go talk to somebody, maybe you need to extend forgiveness, maybe you need to ask for someone's forgiveness, maybe you need to repair a relationship, maybe you need to tell your parents something that you did, and you know it's going to cost you something, but it's worth it. It's worth the cost to do the next right thing. It's worth the cost to be a person of integrity. And so that's our challenge tonight, is be a person of integrity. When you aren't sure what to do, when you can't see the big picture, do the next right thing. That next right thing right in front of you, do that thing. And then when you've done that thing, do the next right thing after that. Be a person of integrity. In the moments that Joseph was faced with a choice, he didn't always know what was going on in the bigger picture. But he saw his situation. He understood that God was at work, that things weren't going the way that he wanted them to go. But first we want to see our situation and then identify what that next right thing is. Whatever the issue is, you know what that struggle is or that challenge is. Whatever that is, identify the situation and then identify the next right thing and then do it. Maybe you need to ask a friend for help with something. Maybe you need to confess something to a parent or apologize to someone or not go to something that you've been invited to or stop looking at someone else's homework, or I guess we're in summer now, so maybe that's past, but maybe you did that and you need to confess that to somebody. Maybe you need to have a tough conversation in a relationship, a boyfriend or girlfriend. What's the next right thing that you need to do? And then get together with somebody and tell them what that next right thing is. Tell them what that thing is that you need to do, that next right thing that you need to do so they can hold you accountable for it. Again, when you can't see the bigger picture, do the next right thing. Choose to be a person of integrity who follows the Lord and understands that He's at work in a bigger way than we understand. Thanks for joining us for week 3 of Big Picture, and we'll see you next time.